with everything you said, you say that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam received the revelation from Allah, and the people was just trusting him in this message. In order to be a prophet, okay, especially like getting revelation from Allah, things have to. If you sit there and you give prophecies of things to come, and 100% of those prophecies come true and happen, then what is that person? Can that person just be? Can I just myself say, hey, the next 100 years?
What
X.
if I show
No,
you one?
I'll let you speak.
What if I show you one that's not
I'll
true?
let you speak. I'm saying I'll let you speak. So look,
Okay, go ahead.
I give you within the next 100 years. I'm gonna tell you exactly what's going to happen. Okay, me, I can guess all I want. I can guess who's going to win the next Super Bowl, NFL game, whatever. It's going to be a probability that I'm going to be wrong. Okay. But to be right 100% of the time, and I'll let you go ahead and explain the one that you say didn't happen. The one, let's just say the one out of, let's just say 500, the one that you would say didn't happen. Go ahead.
Okay, James. Because I'm out right now, I'm on my lunch break, so I have to step out. I don't know if you can pull it up for me because I'm not in front of my computer. Can you pull up the hadith where Muhammad said a guy came up to him and asked him if he was a prophet, and then Muhammad said, "No, no." He said these three
These
things
three
will prove
things.
you're a
Yeah.
prophet. Yeah, if you answer these questions. Um, James, can you pull it up for us, please? While James is pulling it up, let me ask you a question. Let's say that I give it to you that he got 99 prophecies correct. If he gets one wrong, does that disqualify him from being a prophet?
That would disqualify him. If the one was
Okay,
wrong,
good.
yeah, that would disqualify him.
Okay, okay, thank you. James is going to show this hadith on the screen. And remember, according to the hadith, these three questions will prove that he's a prophet. That's your criteria about him being a prophet, and it's going to prove that he's not based on the criteria.
You'll never believe this, but I was looking at that today and now I can't find it, but it is. Hang on a second. He came up to him and he said he was going to test just to see if he's a true prophet. See, prophet, three things. He used to descend in 3% moons. Oh man. Anyone remember the hadith?
Let me see if I can find it. Give me 1 second.
He called for translating. His question said to them, "Who amongst you is close?"
I think I took a screenshot of it. Let me just.
Is it from Heraclius? Was he a part of that story?
No.
Okay.
No.
I found it. Give me 1 second. I'm about to put it on the screen.
What is the number?
Yeah, what is the number? Let me know. And if it's a weak narration or strong narration.
No, my man. I love the way you guys say it's a weak narration.
Oh yeah, yeah. We have a science behind that, bro.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And it's Sahih, then you say, yeah, but is it Sahih? There we go. Bugger.
It's Sahih Bukhari 4480, I think. Give me 1 second.
I got you. Sahih Bukhari 4480. So he came to the Prophet.
And
I'll ask you about three things. I have it on my screen now. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna put this on my screen really quick. I'm just gonna highlight the section that's gonna be really important. But you can read it as it's being highlighted. Okay, so go ahead. Can you read it from the top, please?
Yes, sir. So this is Sahih Bukhari. So Sheed, is Sahih Bukhari good enough?
4480.
Before we go on, do you take Sahih Bukhari?
Oh, let me confirm something first because I don't know if it's Sahih Bukhari, but I believe there's some hadith that also have some weak
This
narrations
is
in it,
not
but
one
they
of
use
them.
it.
This is not one of
hang
I
them.
on,
just,
I mean, let's see where
I
he
just.
goes, bro. I want to see. This is why I said, is this Sahih Bukhari, or is this Sahih with a bad curry?
Bad curry.
Because I know what he's saying. There's like there's 6 hadith within the authentic collections of the 6 books that are considered da'if, but this is not one of them. I'm sorry, bro, but this is not one of them.
Okay,
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I was just, yeah, and I just looked it up, and it did say it does contain some. So okay, all right. So Bukhari, we said 4480, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
4480. Okay, so you can read it.
Okay, give me 2 seconds. I just want to write a word. Permission to beat your wives. Because while I was looking for that, permission. I found a verse I've been looking for. How do you spell permission? Permission. Yes. Perfect. Let me just go back, and this is what it says. It says, let me go there. It says, messenger. Abdullah bin Salam heard the news of the arrival of Allah's messenger at Medina. He was on a farm collecting its fruits. So he came to the Prophet and said, I will ask you about 3 things which nobody knows unless he is a prophet. The funniest thing is the guy's asking a question and he's not a prophet, so how would he know if they're true or not? But we'll get to that afterwards. Firstly, what is the first portent of the hour? Portent, not sure what that means. What is the first meal of the people of paradise? And what makes a baby look like its father or mother? This I'm going to love. The Prophet said, just now Jibreel has informed me about that. Alhamdulillah. Abdullah said, Jibreel? The Prophet said, yes, Abdullah. He said, he among the angels is the enemy of the Jews. On that, the Prophet recited this holy verse. Whoever is an enemy to Jibreel, let him die in his fury, for he has brought it, that is the Quran, down to your heart by Allah's permission. 297, Baqarah 97. Then he added, as for the first portent of the hour, it will be a fire that will collect the people from east to west, and as for the first meal of the people of paradise, it will be the codite, i.e. that is extra lobe of the fish liver. Yummy, yummy. That sounds like music to my tummy. And if a man's discharge, pay attention, ladies and gentlemen, and if a man's discharge proceeded that of the woman, that means if he came before the woman, then the child resembles the father. And if the woman's discharge, meaning the woman's sperm comes before the man's, then the child resembles the mother. On hearing that, Abdullah said, I testify none has the right to be worshipped but Allah, and that you are a messenger.
Okay, so we can
You can
stop
keep going.
there. I mean, if you want to, we can, but it's not pertaining to this. I mean, if you want to, you
I
can,
just
James,
like,
man.
yeah, I just like reading the whole thing just so I can
Let's
have
read
it.
the whole thing.
I
MashaAllah.
got it.
It said, O Allah's messenger, the Jews are liars. And if they should come to know that I have embraced Islam, they would accuse me of being a liar. In the meantime, some Jews came to the Prophet and asked him, what is Abdullah's status among you? They replied, he is the best among us, and he is our chief, the son of our chief. The Prophet said, what would you think if Abdullah bin Salam embraced Islam? They replied, may Allah protect him from this. now I've got something to say about that too. Then Abdullah came out and said, I testify that none has the right to be worshipped but Allah, and that Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. The Jews then said, Abdullah is the worst of us and the son of the worst of us, and disparage him. On that, Abdullah said, O Allah's messenger, this is what I was afraid of.
So, as we can see, remember, this was, you're saying that because he's a prophet, that he speaks truth and that he hears from God. And according to this hadith, there are three things that were given to him to prove that he's a prophet. And by the same criterion that Muhammad himself agreed to, proves that he's not, because you know that it's scientifically impossible that whichever of the male or the female orgasms first, you know that the child will not look like them based on the orgasm. That is scientifically nonsensical. There's no science book that will be able to prove that. And there's many more in like scientific inaccuracies, but like I said, I'll give it to you. Maybe we got 99 of them correct. No problem. If he gets wrong, if he gets one of them wrong, then he can't be a prophet because he's speaking lies.
So
I mean, I'm just saying, bro.
by
Sorry, go ahead.
your reasoning of rejecting this is because scientifically, like we can't prove this scientifically. That's your basis of this.
No, we can prove that it's not scientific. You understand the difference? It's not. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, James.
No, I was going to go on the same lines because I'm asking, can you prove scientifically that if a man orgasms first, that the child will resemble the father?
I can't prove anything. But when he says this happens and this will happen,
okay, so stop there.
Exactly.
The guy came to Muhammad to do a test. Now, how does this man that came to Muhammad to do the test know the answer is true or untrue? Only the prophets know this, correct?
But yeah, that's what, yeah.
Okay, so the man asked Muhammad a question saying, only prophets know the answer, right? So he came to the prophet and he said, I will ask you three things which nobody knows unless he be a prophet. So Muhammad could have said that, that there's floating trees and that bald men are the most intelligent or the most sexy in the world. I mean, this dude would just be sitting there like an idiot saying, you answered me, therefore you must be true. How do you know? How does this man know that the answers Muhammad gave are true? You have to know the answer when you're asking such a question to check if the answer is responding to
It's like, for instance, if I ask you what 2 + 2 is, and you say 5, and I say that's correct, I mean, that's assuming that you know what 2 + 2 is, right? The answer is 4, bro. Like, if somebody says 5, you know they're incorrect, bro.
Where did he say he was right in this situation? Where did Abdullah say, "Or you were right about this"?
What do you mean? He says it right there. He says, matter of fact, afterwards he says, "Mashallah," or he says, Abdullah said, "I testify that none has the right to be worshipped but Allah, and that you, right, and that you are the messenger of Allah." Remember, this was his initial question. His initial question was, if you answer these three things correct, I know that you're a prophet. And after he answered them, he said, okay, you are a prophet.
So how did he know the answers if only the prophets knew what the answers were?
I understand. I completely understand what you guys are saying, but he didn't say if you ask these questions correctly. Look at what it says. I will ask you about three things which nobody knows unless he be a prophet.
Exactly.
If he's saying that, I understand that he has to know what the answer is. If I'm asking you a question, it has to be correct, unless to determine that you're a prophet, it has to be correct. Now, if he answers these questions and he like, okay, well, you're correct, I'm gonna accept you. He never said, hey, you have to be correct to go ahead and state what's going on. Look,
Let me
you
tell
can
you.
laugh.
No,
No,
no, wait,
you
wait, wait,
can
wait. Sheet, no,
laugh.
sheet, sheet,
But listen,
sheet,
I
sheet, sheet
will
is fine.
ask
Sheet,
you
sheet is
about
fine.
three
Sheet
things
is
that
fine.
nobody unless
Sheet
a
is
messenger
fine.
knows.
Sheet,
So
sheet is fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. We're not gonna laugh at you. Let me just explain to you why that's not a good interpretation of this hadith. The reason being is because if I ask you a question, whether you get it correct or wrong is irrelevant. So whether I think you get it correct or wrong is irrelevant. It's whether or not it is correct. Because even, and I can show you this, there's a fatwa by Ibn Baz, who is, he was the Grand Mufti of Saudi Arabia. And he said that even in the hadith, when Muhammad spoke, it is wahi.
it's
Now
why he
remember,
right. Okay.
okay, exactly. So if it's wahi, where does wahi come from?
Where does it come from?
Where does it come
Comes
from?
comes from Allah.
Okay, so the information, the answer that he's giving is not coming out of his own mouth. He's not answering based on his own reasoning. He's answering based on wahi from Allah. So if you're saying, okay, well, maybe that means that Allah is wrong. Are you saying that God is wrong?
No, bro. You know I'm not saying that Allah is wrong, bro. Come
Exactly.
on.
I know I know you don't believe that, but that's what you're saying.
No, I'm not saying that.
Okay,
I'm
let's start
not.
again. Let's start
I will.
again. Is the hadith, does Muhammad speak on his own accord?
Muhammad, no, he doesn't speak on his own accord. Whatever Allah
Okay,
puts in his mouth, he speaks.
exactly. So that means everything
Deuteronomy
he says is
18:18.
thank you. And there's actually a verse in the Quran that says that. So that means that whenever he speaks, even in the hadith, and I can show you the fatwa, even in the hadith, it will be considered wahi, right?
Yes. If it's if
Okay,
it's if it's a strong hadith, yeah, it's
okay.
from him.
All right, thank you. Where does wahi come from?
It comes from Allah.
Okay, so if he's saying here in this particular hadith that whichever the male or the female orgasms first, that's wahi coming from Allah, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm
so
trying
are
to
you
figure out.
telling me that Allah doesn't know how babies are made?
Allah knows how babies are made. It's stated in the
Okay, well
Quran how they're
then,
made.
okay, and that's also wrong,
And
by the way.
yeah, and it's
But that's
wrong.
another
That's wrong.
conversation.
It's
Oh,
wrong.
okay,
Oh,
that's wrong.
okay.
Okay,
But,
Sheed, hang on. I mean, before we
sorry,
just
go
brush
ahead.
that off, Sheed, you just said, do you agree that a baby lies in the mother's womb for 40 days and then becomes a clot for 40 days and then becomes bones for 40 days and then gets clothed after 40 days, and then you believe that?
Clothed with what? Clothed with what?
With skin. So the skeleton
Okay,
gets skin. Do you agree with
okay.
that?
Whatever the Quran says it is in there, I believe that.
Have you ever seen someone have a miscarriage and the skeleton come out of the vajayjay?
No,
Okay, have you ever seen a picture of a baby as a skeleton when they did an ultrasound?
no, I've never seen that.
So when the Quran says that for 40 days the sperm is in the womb, for 40 days it becomes a clot, for 40 days it becomes whatever it is, bones, and then after that it becomes, now we've moved on to over 3 months. Do you agree that at around 3 months we are able to do ultrasounds and actually look inside the woman's tummy?
It's actually 4 months.
4 months. If it's 4 months, even better. Have you ever seen a skeleton in a woman's stomach at 4 months?
Yeah, 4 months. I've seen just the shape of the
Okay, has it ever
the
been a
baby.
skeleton, just bones?
I'm looking at a X-ray or whatever it's called, the
Yeah, ultrasound.
ultrasound. So
Have you ever seen an ultrasound that is just made up of bones, waiting for the clothes to come, the skin?
I've when I
Have you ever
you know
heard that
I
women have you ever heard that women have sperm or breasticles? That the
breasticles.
sperm
Oh
comes from the
man,
backbone of the man. Have you ever heard of this nonsense?
this says
Has any
discharge.
scientist said to you,
It
"Oh,
doesn't say
shame, be
sperm.
careful, don't get kicked in your back because you can break your sperm bag"?
It says women's discharge. It doesn't say sperm for women. So
Okay, do women have eggs or do they have discharge to make them pregnant?
the sperm goes into the egg, but they also have discharge.
Show me anywhere in Islamic science where it talks about the woman's egg. Any hadith, anywhere, any verse in the Quran where it mentions that women have egg.
I don't know if it
Okay, does the sun set in muddy water?